affected by the policies of government, the decisions and indecisions of government, the misgovernance within the state, and everything. If Bishop Kukah has not been kidnapped, he must have known someone who has been, particularly for someone who lives in Sokoto. If he has not experienced insecurity, one of his congregants must have, experienced such. So he comes home, and you don't expect people like that not to talk. I think what government should be doing is what I'll call the takeaways from these messages.
Teachable moments. What can you learn from?
What can you learn from it, and then make amends?
The question really is, what qualifies a statement? What qualifies a statement for remonstration by government? It appears arcane to me. From what we are getting, they have their standards. Okay, this one is good, this one is not good. And you can see it playing out in almost every sphere of our lives. Now, a couple of groups from the north came out and started saying all kinds of things. All kinds of things intended to unsettle, the still waters, the country's still waters. Government did nothing about it. Only for Sunday Igboho to come out and say, no, enough of these killings of our people. We are going to fight back. And then you have DSS, SSS, Bobo, and all the rest of all of them running helter-skelter. So we don't know what qualifies these things for government's remonstration. It appears arcane to us.
It's a good thing. Just like you made a comparison about how, Bakari is, they've been silent on Bakari for Father Kukah. Isn't that a good thing to show that perhaps what they're looking at is intent? Perhaps they feel like Father Kukah isn't his speech isn't, especially as he was friendly with the past administration, and they weren't particularly.
So how then do they judge intent? That's a problem, because that someone grandstands as my friend does not mean he's my friend. And that someone, bear arms, and obviously if I is about to possibly pull the trigger against me, does not mean he's my enemy. I know it brings me back to A.E. Osman's poem, An Irishman Forsakes His Death, where he says that those that I love, those that I guard, I do not love, and those that I fight, I do not hate. That's the thing with governance. It's not a question of friend or enemy, or frenemies, as you may want to call it. It's a question of what is the substance in what this person has said. And I think that should be the most important thing. And it affects every strata of our system. At the state level, when someone says something, even when it is valid, the state governor or his spokesperson comes out to say that, they try to pillory the person, or, just disparage him, regardless of the credibility in what the person has said. So it's a problem that cuts across boards. And we need to just begin to learn that. And I keep saying this. We must draw a line between criticism and cynicism. If someone has criticized you, it doesn't mean he hates you. Why do we do literary critique, for instance? Is it because we hate, the writer? It is because we just want to bring out the strengths and the weaknesses in it. So if someone is doing a critique of you, it is not because the person hates you.
Absolutely.
You see, I think the advice here for the men on the pulpit, particularly in reference to what we're discussing this morning, is to always stay aloof, all right? So that they will be respected by all. It is not a good thing to be found to be, tilting towards his side.
But Barrister,
taking sides.
Is it also not? Are we also saying that let's say a clergyman, for instance, does not have a right to political affiliation?
But it would affect his calling.
If you feel like it's okay for him to criticize somebody, why should it be not? That's why I'm saying also that. So why do we criticize those? Is it not a matter of opinion or what's angled? So someone who now decides that, Buhari is performing and doing well, we go all out and then we say, keep quiet and don't say anything about politics.
You can imagine if what we experienced in this country under the leadership of the PDP can go, almost just like that, with the men on the pulpit, and then they come out against this administration the way we are found. I mean, it's human nature. You want to see it as being hypocritical.
Right.
I think that's why Kuka appears to be having some problems.
Okay. All right, so let's take a short commercial break. This is straight from the dailies on Splash 105.5 FM. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the resident doctors ordering COVID-19 doctors to join the strike and threatening 5 million naira fine. After this break, don't go away.
As the best man, I'd like to give a toast. But first, I have a few things to say. The money they are spraying the couple is reducing. It seems some people have rubbed glue under their shoes to pack it.
Clearly, he's been watching Comedy Nights or maybe My Siblings and I on Africa Magic Urban, DSTV channel 153. Now, you too can get inspired by our local entertainment. Get a HD decoder, dish, plus 1 month DSTV compact subscription for only 18,600 naira. Because great stories start on DSTV.
If only we could show you on radio our stylish new look. Amstel Malta. But since we can't, go to the nearest store to pick up some Amstel Malta. And for Team Fit fam, try the new Amstel Malta Ultra with no added sugar. New look Amstel Malta.
And new Amstel Malta Ultra with no added sugar. So good for you.
Amstel Malta. Be your best.
Oṣù Àbíyì, oṣù àpọ́nlé, oṣù ẹ̀yọ́nú tún ti dé o. Oṣù Ramadan tí gbogbo èèyàn máa ń jí fàfàmì lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba Allah pẹ̀lú ṣíṣe àwọn onígbọ̀wọ́ ètò lọ́lọ́kọ̀ òjọ̀kan yálà lóru àti lọ́sàn-án àwẹ̀ Ramadan. Ìyẹn lórí ìkànnì ọmọlúwàbí Splash FM 105.5 àti Lágẹ̀lú FM 96.7. Àsìkò rẹ̀ ó látún ti wá fagbọ̀n kọ́rẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba lékè ọlá pẹ̀lú ṣíṣe àwọn onígbọ̀wọ́ ètò bí oníṣẹ́jú 5, 10 àti 15. Bákan náà làǹfààní tún ṣí sílẹ̀ fún yín o láti kẹ́bùn wá fàmì àfáwọn èèyàn láti máa fi ṣèfàjẹ́ lóru àwẹ̀. Ẹ tètè máa bọ̀ wá o sí ìkànnì ọmọlúwàbí Splash FM àti Lágẹ̀lú FM òkè gájòkè láti wá ṣòǹgbọ̀wọ́ àwọn ètò nínú lámàlánà yìí. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ pè Allahumma amin.
Àti dé òpin ìdíje àṣẹ yìí ọlọ́wọ́ ṣíbí tó gbajúmọ̀ kárí ayé ni yóò jẹ́rìí sí oúnjẹ tó dára jùlọ.
Ó ti fún ṣẹ́jú jẹ́ wá yìí tàbí yóò wí pé gbégbá orókè.
Àmì ni o gbogbo àwọn ọlọ́wọ́ ṣíbí wọ̀nyí ló gbégbá orókè.
Ibikíbi tó lè wà tàbí irúfẹ́ ìtọ́wò rẹ o lè ṣe oúnjẹ alárinrin ní gbogbo ìgbà pẹ̀lú ọ̀ngà ohun ìsebẹ̀ aládùn ti Nàìjà tá a ṣe báyìí pẹ̀lú sóyà tiwantiwa fún èrè aṣaralóore rẹpẹtẹ.
Ọ̀ngà, Mama's helping hand.
You see that your cousin will not dey carry last for food matter? And that your niece will not like to chop better thing?
No, I know the shopper.
What about your uncle? We not get shit. And that your guy will always like drink the last Coca-Cola. We sabi them, but without them, food not is sweet. Coca-Cola and food together tastes better.
Taste the feeling.
It is time for celebration. 30 years bustling with goodness. The challenge can never ever stop us. You can't underrate us. You can't underrate. Mountain Guinness, bustling with so much greatness. Mountain Guinness, enjoy a world of
The BBC News World Service app makes listening to your favorite programs on your phone even easier. And for times when you can't use Wi-Fi or data to listen, just hit the call to listen button in the middle of the screen.
This is the BBC World Service.
Call to listen is only available in selected territories. For dial-up news services, standard geographic mobile charges will apply. Please check with your provider for exact cost before calling. Download the BBC News World Service app from your usual store.
Life is a mystery which can only be unraveled by the Word of God. And that's why you need to join Pastor Prince Will Afolabi of God's Power Evangelical Mission every Wednesday at 7:45 p.m. on Splash FM 105.5 as we unravel the mystery of life for great impact and success. Join us then. God bless you.
You don't wait for life. You go to meet life. It's not about how many chances you get. It's what you do with what you've got. Morning after morning, cup after cup. Start strong, finish strong. With the stimulating aroma and rich, creamy taste of Nescafe 3-in-1. It all starts with Nescafe.
Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying tuned. This is Splash 105.5 FM. I'm Ronke Giwa on Nofo, and of course, what we're doing currently is looking at the stories making headlines and, of course, sharing our thoughts and contributions to them. We cannot wait to open phone lines as we want to hear your thoughts. But in the meantime, you can go onto our Twitter, follow us at Splash FM 1055, and tweet your reactions and comments. I see a few tweets up there already. I'm reading them in the moment, so please feel free to join your voice to the voices on there already. All right, we've still got Barrister Yomi Ogunlola and Plato in the studio, and of course, they're still sharing their thoughts and contributions. Right now, we're going to the resident doctor issue. And here in the papers, the Punch newspaper precisely, the National Association of Resident Doctors has ordered doctors at the COVID-19 isolation centers to join the nationwide strike. It began on April 1st. The NERD has also threatened to impose a fine of 5 million naira on any of its branches which fails to join the strike. It also said branches found wanting would not be able to hold any national position for the next 2 years. While the president of NERD, Uyilawa Ukwaesui, in an interview with one of the Punch correspondents, disclosed the directive to doctors at the isolation centers. The threat to impose a 5 million naira fine on errant branches was contained in an internal memo sent out to members by the National Executive Council of the association. Recall that NERD, an association of doctors undergoing residency training, had on April 1st begun a nationwide strike over government's failure to pay salaries of house officers and review 5,000 naira hazard allowance of doctors. Last-minute effort on March 31st by the federal government to prevent the strike failed as the doctors shunned an agreement they signed with government on the grounds that proposals contained in it were not new. On April 1st, there were reports that the members of the association at the COVID-19 isolations did not join the strike on compassionate grounds. I mean, what are your thoughts in it? This is getting obviously a lot tougher. It was odd that when I spoke about this, I think it was last week, and I took open phone lines, that there were quite a few people who were saying, I mean, the doctors are being very selfish. You know, they're not the only ones who are getting the short end of the stick. And now the doctors are taking this to another level and bringing in the, COVID-19 doctors and getting them involved in this one as well. We know what that would look like.
This is a hideous call. It is a hideous call. And I must tell you that the action would be invidious. Doctors must respect their Hippocratic oath. And so for them to throw it out the window is most unbecoming. They shouldn't embark on this. There is no doubt about it that they have their grievances, and Nigerians are in support of, their call to bring government to sit down and discuss the terms
there was a warning that put out a warning to the government, and government didn't do anything until perhaps a day or two.
They know government. Okay. They know government. They know particularly Nigerian government. But is it Buhari who has facilities to go and,
which I'm sure is even more
medical checkup in London,
preposterous to them, because
is it Buhari that has facilities to go and do medical checkup in London that will be affected? Is it the ministers? Is it the senators? It is the common people of Nigeria that will suffer. And you see, it is the same thing I've always said about all the so-called Boko Haram, bandits, kidnappers, and so on. How many of governors' children have you heard that has been kidnapped or killed or maimed the way they are doing to common people. And yet, these people are victims, just like the so-called people who have decided to fight for their rights in the best known way to them.
Right.
So I would appeal to the doctors not to take it that far. You know, when the problem is solved and people are dead, can those people be brought back to life?
Okay, Plato, what are your thoughts? Because I spoke to the president of last week Friday, and he talked about how, I mean, you want them to continue to, treat people, even though, I mean, a lot of them have talked about this COVID. They are giving 5,000 naira for COVID-19 allowance. Some of them have been infected and died. Exactly. Some of them have infected family members that have died.
There's no doubt
and we
about
said
it that
we want them to continue to remember Hippocratic.
Their cause is genuine. There's no doubt about it. But I want to believe that oath is at the apex of their profession.
Well, Barrister, I think again, we should also not forget the fact that doctors have not said they are not ready to work. But government has said doctors should not work, because that's how it is. I always say this, that labor unions don't embark on strike. Government makes labor unions, all different organizations make labor unions embark on strike. If their demands had been met, now a doctor that has not been paid for 3 months, and then we say that Hippocratic oath. Now, let's also be clear about the Hippocratic oath. The Hippocratic oath says that you should render the help you should render, not when you are incapacitated. That's also clear. And Antonio Gramsci in 1919, in his book, in one of his articles, The Union and Dictatorship, was saying something about how unions could also become, could create a kind of a dictatorship, and of course how they can deal with dictatorship. Now, one of the things that, of course, the 3 C's of the union, we talk about, consultation, consolidation, and confrontation. Now, the confrontation is the last C.
Right.
And since January rather, this union has given an ultimatum to government, and for that long, government did not do anything. And the question that we should also ask ourselves sincerely is, how many of us called out government during this period of waiting?
When they were warning. But Plato, I like that you said confrontation is the last. I always feel like with ASU, with everything in this country, they ask, and then they jump to confront.
No, it's always
isn't there anything we can come up with creative ways to actually negotiate?
Let me come in here. You see, there's no doubt about it that these are troubled times for the country. But is government alone to blame?
Okay.
Is government alone to blame? Just a couple of days ago, a professor, a university professor, was indicted and sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for what? For assisting to bring in the wrong people to government. You see, the problem is also with us, the people. And this is my new message to the people. For every wrong man that you bring into government through your vote, you have created one Boko Haram.
Barrister, how do you know the wrong man that you're bringing to government?
You can know them. We know them now. Haven't you seen them?
Barrister, we know that. You don't know the depth of a river until you step into it. That's the fact.
That's not.
It's all a risk.
Politics.
It's all a risk.
We know them. We know the thieves.
Okay.
We know the thieves. We know majority of them who are there for selfish reasons.
How do we know them, Barrister?
I really would like that
from
to know,
their
because
fruit, from their fruit you will know them.
Okay.
From their fruit you will know them. When somebody is living well above his means, somebody is living well above his means.
But we have seen people who have lived below their means, get there, they amass wealth, and they're even worse. So what would be the metrics to judge this?
Absolutely.
Well, I think that is left to the people now to start, to fathom out, because the crisis we are in now, we are indirectly responsible.
Well, Barrister, it's a dive in the dark.
Let me tell you. Go and see how many of these people, they know, just for what they want to get from them. You go to the social media and see how these criminals are being supported by the very people who are feeling the pangs of pain. Go and see what is happening there.
Because, like we've said, they've weaponized, poverty to the level that people who are even... How do you...
And again, the funniest thing also is that for every policy of government, however much it affects everyone, there are some people that would definitely benefit. For instance, let's say border closure. There are people, I have a friend who is a rice farmer, and he keeps saying, hey, I would never support reopening the borders. Now, but for someone who is into rice smuggling, is not comfortable with that. Now, if government decides to open the borders...
Why should we be bothered about somebody who is engaged in the
No, Barrister, let's say that there are people who are bringing these things in validly, who will go through the custom processes and everything. Let's say that the borders are open and then you are allowed to bring it in legally. Someone who is a rice farmer, a local rice farmer, will not be convenient. So I feel that also explains why sometimes when I want to criticize people and say, why are you supporting so person? I want to also try to situate myself within the context of
enjoying that person's
it's always like that.
Supportive of their
but then let's come back to this issue of the NRD. And I feel that what we should be doing is calling out government, not the union. While I'm not comfortable with they extending such calls to, but then like they say, ara jaleinwa.
Desperate measures are being
now
for desperate moves.
The Minister of Labour heard that they were going on strike, did not call them to a meeting.
Plato, if you justify them, their hideous call, as I describe it, if you justify it, you have no basis to condemn Boko Haram. Okay. Because you have no basis to condemn Boko Haram.
Barrister, what would be the comparison?
Boko Haram is fighting government.
Yes.
And in an attempt to get at government,
he's not fighting government. Boko Haram is fighting the state. Because he's trying to create another state within Nigerian state. No, so what would be the basis of that?
So who are they fighting? What
moral right has Boko Haram to deny other people of their right to live under a conventional state?
There
will not be any basis of comparison, Barrister, on this.
No, there is.
This is a union that has worked.
Okay. What I am saying now, the comparison I am making now is this. In an attempt to get to government, they feel the people should be used as scapegoats. Isn't it?
Well,
unionism is about punism.
Yes.
There would always be a pun for every union that exists. So, when they withdraw their services, some people suffer.
So we should allow the people be used as pawns.
Then we can tell all unions not to go on strike then. We will tell all unions not to go on strike. ASU should not go on strike so that they don't withdraw their services. You see, whose business is it?
And you know that this government will get to the point that if you obviously silently...
This government is I don't know how to describe it. As a matter of fact, it appears we don't even have one.
Okay.
It appears we don't even have one.
Okay, well, I'm torn because we don't want people to keep working and not getting paid. Because the doctor has not gotten 3 months to come and start diagnosing you. Nobody wants that. On the other hand, you don't want the people to
exactly. It is sad. It is very, very sad that we can subject our doctors, to this kind of...
Especially with our president now... As we insult upon injury, now jetting out for medical. How would you?
No, he went on medical excursion.
Okay.
Can you imagine? It is sad. There's no doubt about it. I hear the judiciary too is planning.
Wow.
Now, Barrister, they should know without services.
No, but I want to know.
Hello, good morning. We've got somebody here. Good morning. What's your name, please? Good morning. What's your name, please? Okay.
Calling from Milora.
Oh, great. Good to have you here, Mr. Ikoto. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's not the length of a snake that determines how dangerous it is, but the poison it carries.
Oh, yes, it is.
Since 2015, every right-thinking individual in Nigeria has known that this government is not the government of the people. Because everything they are doing is a total negation of the fundamental human rights of the people. What the medical doctor wants to take is the right step in the right direction. When they wanted to embark on strike, Mr. President left the country for his medical treatment. Is that the right leader? The kind of leader to respect this country? So let them embark on the strike. That is what we want. Everybody, including the labor unions, they must embark on strike because the strike signal that Nigeria is on emergency period. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aikoto. But okay, let's keep taking the telephone calls. Let's see if this out. Okay, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who's speaking, please?
Oh, my name is Pastor Dr. Okiki.
Pastor Dr. Okiki. All right, go ahead.
Well, I was very interested in this program this morning. I was so very surprised and I'm disappointed by Barrister. By saying that the people voted the wicked people on the throne. How can we know the wicked people? It was in the scripture that people the spirit they disguise themselves as a good spirit to go and deliver the message to that king. Obviously saying that this government is a failure. We all see for that woman fundamental, that is freedom of speech. Than those who go around that want to create another state for themselves. It will be comparison now. It will be comparison. We are disappointed with the grammar that the barrister was giving us.
All right, thank you, Pastor Doctor. Thank you, we appreciate it. Okay, Pastor Doctor. Okay,
Pastor Doctor, I know we are all working towards the same.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Reverend
Dr. Koye.
Good morning, Barrister. Good morning, Pato.
Good morning, Reverend Dr.
It's never too late to say Happy Easter, though you didn't send me Easter fowl. And I expected it, Barrister. I expected from Plateau. It's never too late.
Don't you be poultry farmer. Me, I've
actually had a change of name anyways.
You see, the truth of the matter, strike here, strike there. We still need something. And what is that? We need a peace commission. With a peace commission, all these agitators will have a body to approach that will nip in the bud most of these sufferings that the strike and protest will usher in. They will be able to broker peace between government and the agitators, between institutions, between people who are asking for one, even including Boko Haram, even including terrorists, even including intended people who want to fight for one thing or the other. The Peace Commission will be there as a bus stop for them at least to vent their anger.
Right.
Father Kuka, you see Barrister Ogunola there, Plateau there, myself here, Tunde Bakari there. Why will government not see us as untoward? Because we speak for good government and governance in Nigeria. It's quite different from somebody speaking out of hatred. When somebody is speaking out of hatred, his voice will not be heard. He will be attacked. But when you are speaking, who can say Reverend Koye Ladele doesn't like President Buhari? I spent my money. I did all I could to bring this president in, but I am not happy with his style of governance. And the Benin people say, it is your friend that tells you the truth. It is your friend that tells you your mouth is smelling. So when people like us speak, they won't but listen. But when those who have made themselves opposition or embrace one party or the other, how much did Father Kuka say when Jonathan was doing bazaar with Nigerian money? When they were hobnobbing with Jonathan Goodluck, what do they say at that time when we are crying? Is it not the same thing we are crying today? We brought Buhari in, but we are crying that Buhari is not doing what we brought him to do. That is the difference. Barrister Ogunola is there. Who can say Ogunola did not speak for Buhari? Who can say Plateau did not speak for Buhari?
I didn't.
Who can say Tunde Bakare did not speak for Buhari? But today, we are saying Buhari is not giving us what we desire.
Right.
It's want to be the voice of a friend. It's want to be the voice for Nigeria. Let us be a voice for better Nigeria. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Reverend Koye. Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay. All right. Let's take this. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Who's
How are
speaking,
you doing?
Great. Thank you, Barrister.
Yeah. You see, I disagree with Reverend Koye concerning
your
the reason why there's a difference.
I think you should turn down your
let me put it off.
Okay.
Let me put it off. I disagree with Reverend Koye on the issue of the difference why they reacted differently to the criticism of Pastor Bakari and that of Father Kuka. It has nothing to do with Jonathan.
You see, criticism from the north is like an acid, hot pepper, mixed with water and pour on this government. Because they know that if it is from the south, they can easily dismiss it. It is those Christians, it is those Southerners. They are the ones destroying Nigeria. Don't listen to them. They can dismiss it. Oh, why it is from a fellow Northerner? Oh my God. Buhari has never been able to tolerate it. Government has never been able to tolerate it. Because it's like somebody got it from inside the house. They know that once Buhari is made unpopular in the north, they are dead and buried. That's the difference. Now,
okay, go ahead.
No, I want to thank Plato and Mr. Ogunlola for the good work they are doing. Yes, to get up early and get that is not easy. Because both of them are loaded and can talk for 1 hour non-stop. I want to suggest that we speak to them. Don't let it come in the same day. They are disturbing each other.
Thank you very much. We don't want suggestions. Thank you. Thank you. Well, but we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you. Sure. All right, let me go to Twitter real quickly. Akim Adeyeye says there are two groups of critics: the one who sees nothing good in whatever the government does, and the other who recognizes the efforts being made and suggests the way forward. Kuka belongs to the former. Never heard him say anything good about this government. A little sugar gets the medicine down. Raji Afiza Bidemi says on the issue of attacks of security personnel in Imo State, honestly, this is uncalled for, and those people who are involved in this attack need to be brought to book. God bless Nigeria. Olusegun Michael says, simple to know thieves contesting political offices. They dangerously lobby with cash. Okay, perhaps something we need to be looking out for. Shiju Akim says, Hippocratic oath, my foot. So because someone had sworn on oath, you should continue to work while not get paid. Some comments are easy to make when you're not directly involved. Have you ever heard that Mr. President has not been paid, or the legislators? All right, Dele Kola Joe says, I'm disappointed in Bryce Ayomi for the first time this morning, comparing the striking doctors to Boko Haram. The fault is entirely with the federal government. Why were they when notice was given? All right, Okunlola Oluwatobi says, if government loves the citizens, government would never allow doctors go on strike. And finally, Raji Afiz says, on the issue of APC members supporting and praying for PMB in London, honestly, those people need to jet down to Nigeria to come and see the suffering we're facing presently. They should stop nonsense. All right, that's all we can take today on Straight from the Dailies. Okay. Oh, fantastic. I hear I can take a couple more telephone calls. Oh, great. All right, let's take this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Who's speaking, please?
My name is Ayori Debola Jasper. I'm speaking from Orisumbari, opposite Wire and Table in Apata.
Good to have you here, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Doctors are human beings like us. If the president can leave this country for checkup, most of these doctors, even professors, they cannot do what Buhari is doing. Most of our politicians are not behaving like Nigerians. If they are not ready to rule us, let him resign and go away. God bless you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, let's take a couple more, and then, of course, that'll be our word. We're definitely giving, what is it? The extra times footballers. What do they call that?
You know, one thing that came to my mind, I remember the days of, student activism, and, the gate was shut one day, and the professor came and said, can't you people find another means of expressing your grievances? And I said, okay, sir. Then not long after, ASU went on strike. And then I saw him. I said, Prof, can't you people find another means of expressing, your grievances without having to shut down the university or down in tools? One of the things about these issues is that the only way you can force the hand of government to the table is by doing this.
Why should it be so? That's why.
Because we have terrible persons in leadership in this country.
Exactly, and that is why. Look. That's why I am heaping the blame now on the people who bring in these kinds of people to
Barrister, don't forget that politicians campaign in poetry. They campaign in prose, but rule in poetry.
My God, look, we have been in it for how long? Since 1960. Because we should start preaching to our people. Those of them who are collecting 500 naira, 1,000 naira, a cup of rice or a bowl of rice and beans and the rest of the stuff to vote for people into government places, positions, that they are indirectly killing themselves.
But Barrister,
they are inviting this evil upon themselves.
But I think
let's also be fair now. As much as I would never support that, but then again, what are those who are not sharing one Congo of rice, 500 naira? Bringing to the table where someone says he wants to contest as president. It did not turn more than 2 states, and then you are shouting aspire to perspire, and you expect people to see. Is
it not some people who aided it, who aided his emergence, because they have control over the whole place. Is it not some people that have been celebrated here and there?
So how do we get that? So how do we not allow a minority, put somebody over us? You've talked about how we should know wicked people.
It is time. What are some of the ways to know? It is time for the people to rise up in their own defense. I have said something, before. Anybody who has held office between 1960 and today, or offsprings of such people, we should not have anything to do with them again.
Barrister, where's the vicarious liability coming from? If I'm the offspring of someone who has held office and I have the stuff, why should I be affected?
What stuff?
Okay,
the bad tree cannot bring forth good fruit.
Wow. Okay. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Who's speaking, please? Let me not.
I'm Olushola Julius.
Okay, I thought so. All right, go ahead, Olushola Julius. Good to have you here.
Barrister, good morning, sir.
Oh, Olushola, good morning.
I love one statement made by Plato this morning that my president has gone on excursion for medical excursion. That is good. I hope he's going to bring some right up for us when he returns back to this country. Yes, that's one. Number two, Barrister, that's something I want us to discuss very well. Do you think Nigeria can afford two terrorist groups now? IPOB is trying to rise up, or ESN in the east. Then we have Boko Haram doing their own. The southwest as well is not settled. And honestly, one of the things that brought these people into power is that assurance that they are going to make Nigeria stable security-wise. But today, it seems the whole issue is escalating every day. Now, finally, Reverend Koyeladele said something this morning, that he made all his money to bring this man into power, but he's not happy. Honestly, Reverend Koye himself is supposed to cover his face in shame that he has brought a government that is not working. Good morning.
Oh, Shola, I think many of us will be guilty of that.
Absolutely.
And this is where I have a problem. Now, if someone supports a government, it is not the person's fault. Now, if you bring a product to me and tout the product and say, this product is good, and you convince me and I buy it, you don't come and heap the blame on me for buying that product when it's just a trust. Absolutely. If someone has abused the trust, you don't blame someone who is in a relationship for giving trust to people.
What we experienced under the PDP leadership for 16 years was enough for us to have taken the action that we took. Okay. That we all felt that, Buhari would come and he will be the hero.
It's just unfortunate.
Do you know something? He would have gone down in history as the best president Nigeria ever had.
Well, unfortunately, Barrister, populists have always been found out to be, a colossal failure.
Okay, we've got to go. Unfortunately, extra time is over. Thank you very much, Barrister. Thank you, Plato, for your time. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you for calling in. Thank you for participating. All right, join me at 8 o'clock as we go beyond the surface. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good morning.